Hello, my name's Catherine Barrett and I'm the founder and director of the Kindness Pandemic. Tonight we're launching a very special event called Donor Kindness. We know from some of our group members that the ultimate act of kindness can be donating an organ. And tonight you're going to hear from four very special people about how their lives were transformed by organ donation. You're going to hear from Sam first. Sam will share the story of her daughter Scarlett, who had a heart transplant. And then you'll hear from Louie and Max, who both had kidney transplants. And what we'll do after that is we'll share with you Chris Franklin's award-winning film about photographer Andrew Chapman and his experiences of his life being transformed by a liver transplant. Each of these four people will tell you what strong means to them and how this incredible act of kindness for people donating their organs has enabled them to live a new life and to be incredibly strong. After the video is finished, we will share with you a link to our webpage, and what we are asking people to do in the Kindness Pandemic is to get on board the Donate Life website and register to be an organ donor, and then share their story about organ donation with the webpage. We'll share a link at the end of these films, but please sit back and watch these four incredibly powerful stories.
Hi, I'm Sam. My daughter Scarlett was born in 2008 with an end-stage heart condition. After a few months at the Royal Children's Hospital, we were advised that the only option for her was a heart transplant. Scarlett was lucky enough to get an organ 3 weeks after going on the transplant list. That meant for us that we got a second chance at giving her her life, and somebody made the ultimate sacrifice for us at their hardest time. It comes with its own complications. There's ongoing medical treatment and medications, but she's 11 now and living an absolute normal life, and we feel she does that to honour her donor as much as live her life for herself.
What makes you keep going? What gives you strength throughout it all?
Knowing that she's doing it not just for herself but for another family. We walked away from the hospital with our child and they didn't, so that's a big inspiration to keep her well.
What would you want people to take from this?
If you haven't thought about organ donation, then give it some thought. You can register, and make sure your family know your wishes. As we are all too aware that at times of great tragedy, families don't necessarily know what their family wanted and make their own decision.
G'day, my name's Louie. I just turned 21. As you can see by the cards on my bench just behind my shoulder, I was born with chronic kidney disease. So that means I've been dealing with this illness for the past 21 years. Wow, it's been that long. Since then, I've had 2 kidney transplants, one at age 5 from my grandma and one at age 14 from my mum. Sorry. Last year I had the privilege of going to Newcastle, UK for the World Transplant Games. I've got my jersey on, haven't worn it in a while. And one of the things we did over there, besides compete, was promote organ and tissue donation. I'm a strong advocate for organ and tissue donation, and I work a little bit in organ and tissue donation policy, which is why I am doing this video today. Kindness to me is, there's 2 types of kindness. There's the kindness of doing something for someone, or doing something like that. The other is how you should treat everyone every day, regardless of who they are, what they do, etc. The first story I'd like to tell you is of a little boy named Louie. At the time, I was in grade 5. I was suffering from depression, chronic depression, and I was drinking a lot of water. This may not, you're like, oh, Louie, but why does that matter? I drink a lot of water. Yeah, well, you would probably have 2 kidneys, or a kidney at least. During this time, I had none. So I couldn't actually get rid of the fluid unless I had a machine, until I was hooked up to the machine to take that fluid and the toxins out that you normally weigh out. So I used to have a buddy that would, my bathroom buddy, and I was grade 5 at the time, walk down the stairs with me and make sure that I didn't have any water that I wasn't supposed to. That probably saved my life. I almost certainly wouldn't have gotten to transplant without that mate. That mate prevented strokes, the potential of me having a stroke from becoming filled with fluid, and he made sure that I stayed healthy enough to stay on the waiting list for an organ, for a kidney. He enabled Mum to give me that kidney by keeping me well enough. So I can't thank him enough for that act of kindness. The second act of kindness I'd like to talk about, obviously there's the one of my gran and my mum that I've already sort of touched on. The other I'd like to touch on is the gift that keeps on giving. Zadie Rose Alexander Turner passed away in 2004 from a brain aneurysm at the age of 7. Her mum and dad, Kim and Alan Turner, turned up in helicopter, by transport rather, to the Royal Children's Hospital after she'd passed away. When she'd passed away, the final operation that she had was to take out and donate her organs. This was after Kim had been told by a team of medical professionals that she wasn't going to make it, that Zadie had passed away, and they have no choice but to pull the power on Zadie's life support. But before they pulled the power, would they like to be an organ and tissue? Kim actually brought it up. She said, we're an organ and Zadie's wishes, donate her organs, which is what they did, and she saved 7 lives. Often, I use the example of my friend. He chose to be kind. He chose to save my life in life. Not many people get to choose to be kind after death. And that's what Zadie did at the age of 7. Just have a think about that for a second. What were you doing at 7? Zadie was donating her organs and saving 7 lives. That's pretty amazing. It's pretty kind. I've worked with Alan. I'm lucky enough and privileged enough to be a Zadie's Rainbow Foundation ambassador. Thanks for that, Alan, and all the stress that comes with that and the late night phone calls. But myself and Alan have worked on what we want to call Zadie's Law. Zadie's Law is an example of opt-out legislation. As I said earlier, I've worked in this area for a little bit with Alan. Our goal is to have everyone, as soon as they become an Australian citizen, whether that be at birth or later in life, that they are automatically registered as an organ and tissue donor unless they say, I don't want to. And let me make this abundantly clear. I don't mind if you don't want to be an organ and tissue donor. That's your choice. It's your family's choice as well. We have a fantastic medical system in Australia, and COVID-19 has proved how great our medical system is. And thank you to all the doctors and nurses who've worked through this pandemic, keeping Australians well. In terms of Zadie's Law, what we want to be able to see is at the moment, and I'll show you how long it takes. It doesn't take long, but it takes a bit. One sec. Obviously, I've got other stuff open. So keep in mind, this is with a slow computer like mine, and it's crashed. Okay, it's working now. Sorry about that little technical glitch. We're still good though. No, okay. We'll edit that out. Anyway, so it takes about a minute to sign up. If we were automatically registered and we all still had that conversation, most Australians, 60%, actually support organ and tissue donation, but only 40% are registered. 40%, that's not a lot, especially when you're on the waiting list. So what I'd like to do now is just take a minute and just to pause and think about, in a minute, how many things can you get done? Okay, that was a little bit less, but 30 seconds or so is roughly how long it takes someone to register. It's not that long, but it's 30 seconds. I could have quickly gone and grabbed something out of the microwave or something in that time. I'm not nitpicking here. But it's something people don't often get around to, and I completely understand that. And this is why we want Zadie's Law. So what I'd love to see everyone do is 3 things. First, pick up the phone. Call your local MP, write a letter to pick up the phone, ring up all the health ministers, all the shadow health ministers, tell them that you support Zadie's Law. And if they don't know what Zadie's Law is, call Alan Turner and look up Zadie's Rainbow Foundation. The second thing I want everyone to do out of this video is go and register. At the moment, it's the only way we have, if you get picked up in an ambulance, to say you are an organ and tissue donor. The third thing, and the most important thing I want you to take from the video today, even if you do none of the other things, have a chat to your family. Sit them down, see where they sit on organ and tissue donation. If you've registered, say to them, look, mum, dad, whoever your next of kin is, these are my wishes. If I do die and you are able to donate my organs, that would mean a lot to me. Yeah, thanks for watching. Remember, write those letters, pick up those phones, and I hope to speak to you soon, and stay safe, stay healthy.
Hello everybody, my name's Max and I'm here making this video today because I was fortunate enough in 2008 to have been given the ultimate gift in life of a new kidney. Thank you very much to the generous family who donated my kidney, and thank you again for giving me another 9 years of happy life. My journey started in 2008 when I was diagnosed with kidney failure. I spent 3 years on dialysis, which I think was very lucky in such a short time. And the rest of my journey started then with 3 years of dialysis between Ballarat and Daylesford hospitals. I got the call at 2 o'clock in the morning to travel to Melbourne because I was being offered a kidney at the Royal Melbourne Hospital. And I'm very fortunate to have a friend who lived in Daylesford who took me down there. We arrived in Melbourne at 7:30 a.m. and I was straight into the operating room at 8:30. And 4 hours later, I was back in recovery with my new buddy. So I was very, very pleased. A little bit of a rocky start, a few minor hiccups all the way through, but otherwise everything went perfectly well. And eventually I got to come back to Daylesford to live, where I've had a very, very wonderful life and very fortunate with the friends I've had all these years that have helped me in situations that have been a bit difficult, and that's something we all go through. But as I said, I'm very, very fortunate with my friends and very happy to be able to share this video with you all. Remember to sign up to donate life for your organs to be used after you die. It's very, very important. There's lots and lots of people out there waiting for a new chance at life, so it's really good that someone can give them that chance. And we really appreciate the fact that you are able to help people out. It's a very trying time, of course, when a loved one dies. But if you already, and of course that's the other thing, you must have a talk with your family and tell them what your wishes are so that when the time does come, they will be quite happy to donate your organs to other people and various parts, like, skins, and you can do corneas. There's all sorts of interesting pieces that can be used to help other people live a life. So yeah, we really appreciate that. And I'm very, very fortunate. I've had a really, really lucky journey. It's all been a learning curve, of course, but you must be in charge of your own health. And if you are told by the doctors or the nurses or whatever it might be that you need this or you need that or this has happened or that has happened, please ask questions. The doctors are always happy to help and always happy to answer your questions. And I think it's really, really important to be in charge so that you know exactly what's happening to you and you know exactly what the journey entails. So as I said, it's really, really important to be in charge of your health and ask the questions, talk to people, get on to the...
Thank you so much for watching these incredibly powerful stories as part of our Donor Kindness campaign. We'd like to invite you all now to go to our Donor Kindness campaign webpage. If you go to thekindnesspandemic.org and then you go to campaigns and follow the link to Donor Kindness, you'll see Max, Louie, Sam and Andrew's stories are up there on the webpage, but also there are the links for you to register to be an organ donor. And we're inviting you to register to be an organ donor as the ultimate act of kindness, and then to share your story of organ donation to the Kindness Pandemic webpage and Facebook group, because we'd like to share your stories and encourage other people to do the same. So thank you so much for listening.